Hey guys, welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna cover expected minutes and some other basic stuff like filters and matchups. So let's start. First example, I'll dive into Deandre Ayton. We can see that on the season he's averaging 16.8 points a game, but looking at the minutes, he had two games where he played 17 and 20 minutes, while his expected minutes tonight are set between 28 and 38 minutes. So if we set those minutes to at least 28, we can see that his average goes up to 18.7 points. So this kind of looks like the line at 15.5 is a bit too low, but we need to get some additional context on this one. For example, looking at the last game, we can see big scoring game. Austin Reeves was missing. Game against Portland, highest scoring game of the season that moves average a lot. No Luka Doncic, no Austin Reeves. So both of the best players on the team were out. Again, no Luka, and no Luka Doncic. So if you take a look at with the games when Luka Doncic played, we can see that his average is 15.7, right where the line is set. But we need to take into account that Golden State Warriors 7th best defense in the league, and Wolves are above average against the position, so not easy matchups for him. So let's look also into the averages and looking at the usage. In those three games with Luka, he averaged 17% usage, had 18%, 19%, and 15%. But if you look into the games without Luka Doncic, his usage goes up to 23.6%. Even if you exclude the big usage against the Portland, his usage is 20% compared to 17% with Luka Doncic. So let's look at the last season data to see how does he perform with that kind of usage. So if he set usage between 17 and let's say like 21% usage that he should have tonight, looking at the past data, we can see that if it's 28 plus minutes, he averaged again 15.6. So they are kind of right there with the line, and this line is set pretty much correctly, looking at his averages in those minutes and the usage that he is expected to have. But tonight, he is playing against Charlotte Hornets, and looking at the matchup, we can see a lot of green here. They are horrible at defending pick and roll man, the way he scores most of his points. They are averaging putback, transition, and post up. He scores most of his points from the paint. They allow 10th most points in the paint. He scores most of his points at the rim. They allow 6th most at the rim. So above average matchup, one of the best in the league. Defensive rank against position, they are ranked as third worst against centers. So now looking even better. But even when we look at the single player by position, we can see that 8 out of 9 cover their closing lines and average 29% more points against the Hornets. So the line is set properly for an average matchup. So I think leaning over in this one makes sense, especially since Austin Reeves is questionable for this one. In the last game that Austin Reeves was out and that Luka played, he scored 22 points in 33 minutes against Spurs Wemby. So in not that of an easy matchup, and now he has an easy one tonight. So we checked everything, and 15.5 looks like a good line in the average matchup, but tonight should be probably like a point higher for this one. Now let's move to another example. Let's go to the Wolves and Jazz. For example, Jaden McDaniels. If you look at this season scoring, it's absolutely amazing. 14-point line. He's averaging 18.6 on the season. But again, most of this game were without Anthony Edwards. So his average goes up down to 15.8 points a game average in games that Edwards played. Also, we've seen some unbelievable shooting from Jaden McDaniels. So he shot 80% here, 64% in this one, and 50% in this one, but 3 for 4 from 3. So some crazy shooting. So if you exclude the games where he shot over like 60% from the field, and this one out where he shot below 30%, his average goes to 13.7. But they use this is a very low sample size. So let's do a bit more. Let's extrapolate this to a bigger data. So with Anthony Edwards, his usage was 21%. So if you take a look at the last season data, in the games when he had usage between, let's say, 18 and 23%, which should be average 20%. In the minutes he's expected to play, so that's between 26 and 36 minutes. We can see that he still averaged big 17 points a game. So even with conservative usage and conservative minutes, he's averaging 17 points a game. And the matchup tonight is great. They are horrible in all the ways he scores his points. 21 rank at spot up, 30 at transition, below average on free throws, horrible against putbacks. His dominant zones kind of looking good. So this line could be still a bit too low for Jaden McDaniels. But let's look at the field goals. He averaged 48 on the season. So let's check the games when he had 10 or above and under. So going between 38% and also going to between. So he averaged 48% on the season. So we are looking at range between 38 and 58. Still standing right there on 17 points average. So this usage and those minutes expected in a good matchup should be a lean on the over for Jaden McDaniels. Also looking at the similar players, they averaged 20% more points against the Utah Jazz. Similar player like Kamara and Allen also. Grayson Allen had 14 here on poor shooting. And with Anthony Edwards, he already played against Utah Jazz and had 22 points. But in that game, he also shot incredibly from the floor, 3 from 3-point line. But even if he missed 2 threes and he was like 1 from 3, he will still end up scoring 16 points and covering this line. I always like to look at those, like if you exclude like perfect scoring, perfect shooting night, if he put it to his averages, how would he do? And in this game, if he shot 1 from 3, still cover. And it was a blowout. So he did all this in 27 minutes. So a lean on over will be for me in this one. And for the last one, we can go to the maybe De'Aaron Fox being back for the Spurs. First game back, he had 24 points in 31 minutes. He's expected to play between 26 and 36 minutes tonight. So his usage was 24%. If you take a look at the last season data, when he played with Wemby and Castle and Vassell, he played 5 games, averaged 21 points. His usage was 25%. So first game back, 24%. Last season, 25%. So kind of small sample size, but pretty consistent. 22, 28, 25, 25, 25. So pretty consistent between 24, 25. So if you take a look at bigger sample size, when he had usage between 20, let's say he averaged 27, so we'll do between 23 and 27, bit narrow there, but let's check how he performed in those games. Also, we need to put the minutes in the expected minutes range, and he played 26 up to 36 minutes, and he averaged, looking at that, 19.5 points, and we have 19.5 line. He did cover this line in 70% of the games, but you look at against 20.5, he's been under in 50%. So he's been right there around the line, like 19, 22, 21. So most of the games were between 19 points and 22 points. So this line looks kind of good at 19.5, but I could lean over considering the matchup is great. They're playing the Bulls, who do play at a high pace, who do allow a ton of points at the rim and above the break threes, where he likes to score, loves to score. And they allow this is last season data. Let's look at this season. Not available for De'Aaron Fox since he played only one game, but let's look so like some players like they allow a ton of spot up, ton of transition, a ton of two pick and roll ball handlers. So this should be a good matchup for De'Aaron Fox. So yeah, this is how I usually do stuff. Like I check the ranges, excluding all the outliers. And that's it for today's video, guys. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'll do this constantly, probably 2 to 3 times a week. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Give me an idea to make the new video.